Praise the Lord, champions. This is Pastor Tobias Brookins, and this is Morning Manna with Tobias Brookins. I'm praying that you are blessed and ready to have an awesome day. You should wake up with new energy, new excitement about what God is going to do through you today. You know, there's an old saying that we used to say in our community. I don't know if it was like an American kind of phrase that was used in other communities, but there was a statement we would say, and that is, don't talk about it, be about it. And what that meant was, talk is cheap, match up whatever you're saying with what you actually do. And this is what Paul points out today in Romans chapter 2. Notice what he says in verse 13. He says, for not the hearers of the law are justified before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. But then in 21, kind of sums up this discourse by saying, thou therefore, which teacheth another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that teachest that a man should not steal, do you steal? Thou that sayest to a man that thou should not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast in the law, through breaking the law, dishonoreth thou God? For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. Well, Paul is simply telling us today, the word of God to us, is that as believers, it's one thing to believe something in the word of God, but it's another thing to actually do it. That's a part of the sanctification process. All of us are going through it, where we're trying to match up what we do with what we believe we should do. One of the things I want to take off of you today is trying to use your natural energy to fulfill the will of God. What you have to do is simply submit to the will of God. As you live a life of submission, as you live a life where you yield to the Spirit, then you'll be able to walk in those things, live in those things, act out in those things, be a doer of those things which are spoken in the word of God. You see, the Spirit is what gives us the power to be able to walk before God in a manner that he's called us to. And that's where Paul is challenging them, because these were people who were trying to speak about the sovereignty and the power of the law, but they weren't living it. And Paul is pointing out, if you espouse to live by the law and don't keep it, you violate the whole law, and therefore you are not justified. But we are justified by faith. We're not justified by works, lest any man should boast. Paul is pointing out to them that you should match up whatever you're saying, you should match it with what you do. So today, think about something that you believe, that if someone else was doing it, you would say, "Ooh, that's wrong. That's not right. God doesn't like that." Make sure that you are clean on the inside and are able to also walk in the very advice that you would give someone else. If you're somebody who says people who are Christian should have joy, then don't allow anything to steal your joy today. If you're somebody that says we are to live in forgiveness, we have to learn how to forgive, make sure that there's no unforgiven sin of other people trespassing against you in your life. If you're somebody that says children of God should be excited about the things of God, we ought to share our faith. Are you going to share your faith today? Don't talk about it, just be about it. And watch God stand next to you as you submit to him. He's going to just rush through you. He's going to give you your joy back because joy is a fruit of the Spirit. He's going to give you the love you need because love is a fruit of the Spirit. He's going to give you the meekness you need because that's all a part of the fruit of the Spirit. You're going to walk today where your mouth, your voice, your words, your beliefs are going to match what you actually do. God bless you, child of God. This has been Morning Manna, and I pray that you have been blessed. Remember, don't talk about it, be about it. And remember, you are a champion.